Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United agenda. And there has been some technical difficulty where I can put my hand up and said it was my fault. Jay will be joining us very shortly. There's a reason behind why he's not here right now is because of me. But guys, make sure if you're new to the channel, please give us a like, share, and a subscribe. And I promise you, Jay will be on in the next few seconds to absolutely give me nothing but grief. But we're all here. We're all talking about the Man United and the saga that's going on at the moment in the club. So as always, guys, welcome. Hello, everyone, and hello, Jay. I've got, massive apologies, because when I sent the messages to you earlier, I thought I sent you the link. Unfortunately, I did the same thing yesterday's show as well. Can't hear you, Jay. Can't hear you. Yeah. Can't hear you. Can't blame me on that one. You should be back. Yeah, connection is bad. Now I'll take the responsibility. Yeah, my timekeeping's terrible. Sorry, really, really sorry. Hopefully we'll get the connection back with Jay again. But yeah, as always, we're joined with myself tonight, Mr. B, and it's the Man United agenda. And guys, remember at 10 o'clock as well, there is a Friday night takeaway with Mr. B as well. All things Marcus Rashford and also my guy, Anthony Martial, or what should we say? What do we call him again? What did Louis van Gaal call him? Tony Martial. Tony Martial. Yeah, Tony. But guys, we are here with Jay, and we are going to be discussing tonight about the takeover and what's actually going on with it. Jay is back in the building, I believe.
One. Can you hear? Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you, but your camera's not on.
One sec. I've had a nightmare here. Bear with me 1 sec, guys.
That's all right. We've been having a nightmare here anyway. It's all right.
Don't know what technology. Sorry, bear with me 1 minute and I'll be with you.
That's right. That's right. Mr. B's going through some of the comments anyway. Are you there? You are. You might be here. Oops. Sorry.
Bear with me 1 minute. Oh my gosh. I don't know what is going on here. I've had a right stinker. Sorry about this, guys. I apologize. Right. I was all set to go a minute ago and then it all just went a bit wrong.
Is it because you're not doing your 10K this week? You're giving it up?
No, do you know what it is? Right, I think that's it. Apologies for all that. I think we're all good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying you sent me, like, don't matter, it's not your fault. You sent me the message about coming on tonight's show. And I didn't realize because you sent me the message saying, hey, bro, here's the Streamline link for tonight's show. And I was getting everything ready because we just had tea. So I was getting like clearing out the kitchen so we could do the show and everything. And then when I went onto the message, there was no link in it, and I realized, and it was like I looked at my clock and it was like 8:30. So apologies for being late, man.
That's all right. I'm right.
Sorry.
That's right. Listen, that's Mr.
I know
B
as well. You know when I hate it when I'm late. I hate it when I'm on late with Mr. B because I know he's got to be in bed by 9, hasn't he? So I just, do you know what I mean? He needs to get settled. He's like, you know, he'll have his tablets about 8:45 and then he's in bed by 9. So I'm really sorry about that, Mr. B.
I can't believe you started already. I haven't seen you in ages, son, and that's how I'm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'd say me being late and incompetent into a dig at Mr. B. I apologize, bro. You know it's nothing but love. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
And we all know you stay up well later than 9 on a Friday. Sometimes it's even 10.
If he eats his broccoli, his greens.
Wait, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you both for ages. Apologies, man. I feel like I've been a bit too aloof. How's it all going?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Man United keep winning, man. We keep smiling. I don't have any problem.
That's the acid test then. If Mr. B's happy, things must be going well. Because this guy, he's not easily pleased, is he, when it comes to Manchester United Football Club? This guy's not having any of it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be doing well to impress him.
Yeah. He's even celebrating Fred a bit now these days.
No.
What?
No.
I know he's actually gonna get a new car. To be fair, I think Fred's played himself into a new contract. To be fair.
Yeah, I think he does.
Big statement. Listen, I like Fred. I love the fact my missus is in the chat as well. I'll throw shade at me. Yeah, I usually play where I can. Fred. Do you know what I mean? It's like that, innit? You waited 5 long years, you backed him, and now it's been worth it. I mean, now people are finally appreciating him. Is it? Yeah, it's 5 years, isn't it? I like Fred. He's a good player, and you know he has his limits. But I think as a squad player, and I think for certain games as well, that the issue you have is when we use this term squad player, I think it's almost a nonsense because a squad player for me should be someone who is pretty much good enough for the first team. Like, if you look at, pains me to say, you look at City as an example last season, they had Gundogan, Silva, Bernardo Silva, that is obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, Foden, Grealish, last season, of course, Sterling, all operating in similar positions where you'd say they were all first teamers. They all played over 30-odd games. And yet, some of them, might not start certain games, others would, but they were all sort of deemed first-team players. And I think the problem at United is we've had players who we say, he might be all right as a squad player, but that squad player might end up playing 20 to 30 games that season.
Yeah.
And if they're not good enough to be the first team, then they're not good enough for the squad. Because I think squad player now is almost meaningless. You're either good enough for United or you're not. I don't see the times when squad players would play 10 games in a season are over. Now, United could end up playing 60-odd games this season? Yeah. So you need players who can play 20 games at least and play well. And I'll give it you. I like Fred. I think he's shown this season and last season under Ralph Rangnick. I know he was injured for a big chunk of the season, but he's one of the few that emerged from the whole Rangnick debacle with any sort of credit. And I think in games this season, big games as well, I'm not just talking about, we've got, I don't know, Bournemouth at home or whatever. Although he did well, he came off the bench.
He did brilliantly.
He did, but if you've got Barcelona or, one of the big teams, we've seen him against City in the past. He can step up, and he seems to be a popular player amongst his teammates as well. I think they respect the job he does, and you can, no matter what, you'll get a shift from him. He does have a bit of quality as well. Do you know what I mean? I know he can be erratic. His bottom level and his top level are so far apart. It's amazing. But he's someone who can. He's someone who can do a job for Manchester United. And listen, I've criticised Fred in the past when I think he's deserved criticising. I've apologised to Fred in the past when I think he deserves a lot of credit. And there's been times recently where I think he's been one of the, the more reliable players, especially under Rangnick. And this season, he's fitted in the team when he's needed to. And it's one of those as well. I think, when you look at the team sheet now and you see Fred starting, I'm not. And I know you won't be Solo. You're like, I'm like, okay. Do you know what I mean? He's not a Christian Eriksen. He's not a Casemiro, but he don't need to be.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be as good defensively as Casemiro. He doesn't need to be as good at passing as Christian Eriksen. He just needs to be able to do a job for Manchester United, and I think he can.
Yeah. Mr. B, take it all in.
No, listen, I just think he plays better to win instruction. That's all. I still think he wastes too much passes, but if you get him ratting around or you give him a park role for certain games.
You've got to come forward a bit, Mr. B. You sound like you're miles away.
His job was to rat around. Then I'm taking him for that. But the game that you expect to dominate, where you want us to be good on the ball, I'm not seeing Fred in those type games, to be fair.
Yeah. Do you know what I think he benefits from as well, Fred? I think he can benefit from being in a team where if you put Fred alongside McTominay as your defensive axis in that midfield, I'm having issues with that because neither of them are defensive midfielders. Yeah, they're not. It's like sending me and Mr. B to a hairdresser's. You know what I mean? what are you guys doing here? This ain't you. Get out. You know what I mean? So it's one of them. But I think if you put Fred next to Casemiro, where Casemiro's like, look, defensively, I've got this.
Yeah.
You just get up there, you press, you pick up that ball, and you've got Christian Eriksen next to him who's going, when you get that ball, bro, give it over here. Yeah? Nothing fancy. Give it me. I'll do the 60-yard pass or the 40-yard pass or the through ball. You just give me that ball. You do, you know what I mean? You get hold of it off Casemiro, you run with it, and you give it to me. That works. Do you know what I mean? That works as well. And when you need someone who can come in and give you that bit of energy as well, he'll do that. So there are traits that work for Fred, but he's not, he's not the best at anything, but he's good at a lot of things that can get him through for Manchester United.
Jay, I need you to have this on because I think your missus is giving you a bit of stick tonight.
What's this? Jay think Jimmy is shouting you. Sorry, that's the cat. One sec. Just let the cat out. Bro. No, just what? How's he got? I don't know. He's. I let him in. I don't know what's going on there. Honestly, the cat in our house absolutely runs the gaff. It's ridiculous. I wake up with him meowing in my ear, and then he'll take me downstairs like he needs feeding or something. Where he is, like he needs feeding, and then he'll just sort of sit by his bowl and look at me like, I've had you over there, and then walk off.
Stitch up big time.
Yeah,
oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
it is good, Joe Jay. Yeah, it's good. Sort of like I said. It is so nice having you back on the channel as well.
I'd say what, Michael Hill doesn't watch this channel often. The cat is the only one who agrees with Jay about Fred. You want to chat to Solo? I think Solo.
Yeah. Michael, we've got issues if you're not a Fred fan. It is our 2-year anniversary. We are celebrating our 2-year anniversary. We make it, the Friday night feast if you want it. And we are going to go into some bits and pieces regarding the takeover and everything else. But I've got to say, Jay, every time you come on the channel, we all got to say massive respect for you, sort of helping, supporting. You've been there since day one in our corner. Without you and without everyone in the chat, we technically, with advice and stuff you give us as well, we probably would be talking about George Best and 1930s players.
Well, do you know what? And I know I repeat this anecdote so many times, but I think as it's 2-year anniversary, I can repeat it one more time. I get asked to do a lot of things, right? I'm not being big-headed. I just, I do get messages quite a lot. Yeah. Can you come on my podcast and kill my and I have a lot of time for it because people did that for me when I was, starting out, and I enjoy doing it. I'll do it, and I remember seeing you guys, and I like what you was doing. Honest lads who love the club. And Errol messaged me, and he was like, "Jay, big fan, love what you do. Any chance you come on the podcast?" And I was like, Yeah, give me a shout, let me know. And he went, "Oh, thanks, I can't believe it. I just want to say a big thank you to you, Joe." And I was like, Joe? You just told me I'm your big fan, and then when I've agreed to it, you don't even know my name. I was like, this guy, I remember thinking, this guy's off his head. But I thought, you know what? I won't be too harsh. And then I realized you do it with everyone.
It's a theme.
On a video with you, I was like, this guy, like, he's constant, it's part of your charm. So yeah, no. And listen, I said to you, I remember saying to you when you started, a lot of people, right, they start channels, and I've been guilty of it. I do a couple of channels. I mean, Scotty and Marty. I do 3 points in the gap.
I've got to say though, that is my Monday night highlight, by the way. Yeah,
big.
I've got to tell you that because absolutely carnage that show is.
Yeah, we talk about everything, man. We don't. It's not just football; it's all sorts. But there's sometimes people they start a podcast and they start it for wrong reasons as well. Like if you wanted to make quick money, you ain't gonna do it starting a podcast. You might make money eventually, like I'm not saying that. But if you want I need to make some money like now, I'm gonna start a podcast from scratch and I'm gonna become instantly rich. Good luck with that one. But and also people that have patience sometimes, like it can take years to build a podcast or a channel. I speak from experience. I've seen the way Full-Time Devils grew and then obviously became Stretford Paddock. That didn't happen overnight. And I think that you guys, were pretty honest and open and understand about that. You're patient with it because it's something you care about. You try and improve it. you've evolved. You have some great guests. I'm not talking about myself. I mean, like, I see Andy Tate has got a presenting gig on your channel.
Yeah.
I've worked with Andy for about 9 years now, probably just under 10 years. And, his first time he presented was with you guys. And that's good stuff, man. And I know Andy, and I know him well. And I know that, he's sort of far more popular than I am and far more well known. And he chooses what he wants to do. And he loves coming on your channel. And I love the respect you show him as well, because I know a few people over the years have had Andy involved in things and tried to have him over, try to make money off him, try to do this, that, and the other. And you guys have got his back and you care about him, and there's a lot of love there. And that means a lot to me as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think you do the right things. I love coming on here. I love having a laugh. I love watching you. And I love the way you've evolved. And, 2-year anniversary, I'm confident we'll be sat here in 20 years talking about your success. Well, Mr. B might be in 20 years. I know I'm being vicious now. Do you know what I mean? Like, love me harsh, Dad, but you've got to be realistic. But me and you will be here in 20 years. And we'll be here. Celebrate that anniversary.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be absolutely here.
Yeah, that's the most horrible thing I've ever said to Mr. B. I apologize.
It's all right, man. Don't worry, man. I work in central London, man. I get a lot worse than that from the customers I deliver to, mate. No stress.
Yeah. No, but
McRuby, bruv, I don't even know how much that is. Your
thank you so much.
But you've sent 100 of them, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that.
I think, yellow's usually, any super chat's great, but yellow's usually a good amount. Any amount's great. But
yeah. And second that what you said though, Jay, because obviously I knew nothing about YouTubing when we first started off. Absolutely nothing, zilch, nada. And my whole thing is I used to watch YouTube, and when I used to sort of I used to watch a Paddock, I used to watch obviously the Goldbridge of the world, Terry of the world as well. And when you listen to the podcast originally, you sit and you listen to what people's opinions are. And then when it came to it with the whole thing with sort of making a YouTube channel up, my only goal was to have an advert in front of the channel. That's my goal. That was my goal. And I tell every single person that was my only goal, just to have an advert, nothing more, nothing less. And obviously it evolved like Mr. B. I think Mr. B, I went back a couple of weeks ago and I looked at me and Mr. B, our first ever show together. It was carnage. It was absolute carnage.
I need to see this. Sorry, one sec. Let me close my door.
That's right. Obviously, yeah. So that one, Mr. B, when I went back and actually looked up all the shows we were doing, and you actually sit there and you watch it, you cringe. It's cringy. You're like, oh my God, was it this bad? Then when on Monday came on, it was even 100 times worse, because on Monday, the minute you say something, and on Monday we're like, I'm not having that. Monday sits forward, red face, and then he goes in on you. So, going back and looking at all the old shows, it just showed the progression of the channel. And I think, and I speak for every single person in the agenda, we're not here to make money. This is what we do for the fun and the love of Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with making money out of it. Obviously, it's my full-time job is working on and helping to run Stretford Paddock, so I'm not going to criticize anything like that. But I think you've got to be realistic about it. And you guys doing it for the love and the relationship you have with each other, the laughs you have with each other and the way you bounce off each other. And the knowledge you've got as well. You've all played football to a good standard, and I like that. It comes across. You've got a good understanding of the game. So I think you've got there's a real sort of reason and a sort of USP there why people can go, check out the agenda. So yeah, man, you just keep doing what you're doing, and it's good to see more and more people are jumping on board as well.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like you spoke about the Tate of the world as well, and for us as well, it's nothing but love and respect for him as well. I've met him in person, such a sort of warm character as well. Don't get me wrong, whilst we were out there, he was getting so much stick and abuse, but the way he responded to some of those comments was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
We talk about YouTube, right, and podcasting or whatever, and what we do in fan channels. I don't think you'll ever see anything like Andy Tate again, because I sort of I wasn't close to Andy when he became big, but I saw it happen, and I'm close to Adam McCall, who interviewed him when his his Biggest Fool in Manchester video went viral, and this guy went from being unknown to being one of the most famous fans in the country. Everyone was quoting him. Everyone. And you go to Old Trafford, he'd get mobbed. And you know what? He never changed. He's still that humble guy that he's always been. And he's an example to a lot of us because, if someone stops Andy and asks for a selfie, don't matter what he's doing, he'll do it. He's always got time to chat to people. He's not changed. The guy's still himself. He still loves his comics as well as United and does his little hobbies and stuff. Transformers. Yeah, man. The guy's he's a good guy. And I love the fact that he's never thought he was bigger or better than any other fan. He's just, he's grateful that he's got a platform, and as a good example to a lot of us, because it can be strange when you come into this game. Yeah, you got to call it that, and then you start getting a bit of recognition. People start stopping you on the street. People start, your social media pops off, and you're getting recognised and all this stuff, and that people stopping asking for pictures. I'm not saying I'm getting mobbed or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But you do get attention, and I think he's a good example of how you handle that. You know what I mean? I'm always as friendly as I can be with everyone, and appreciate the fact that people support the channel and watch the channel. And you guys have seen that yourselves. You've got experience of that. But I think Andy was the one that sort of paved the way for all that. He was the first one, really, I think, from any fan channel. And I know there's guys out there now who are absolutely smashing it. You've got millions of subs and all that. But Andy was the first one from a fan channel to break through and just be well known throughout the country and in the mainstream. And people, it's easy to forget that because he's still that guy that he always is and always was. Yeah. It's true. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't change at all. And CALLULA are part of the Mani Agenda as well. She said it. So we're all a family, and on the Mani Agenda we are a family. We sort of correspond daily to each other. We talk, and as a Man United community as well, we are a community at the end of it, and we all want one goal. We all want the best for our club, and the best is for Manchester United. So what we are going to do, Mr. B, is going to go through one or two little comments, Jay, and we are going to go into the situation surrounding Manchester United. Is there a bid been put on the table? Isn't there a bid been put on the table? Was the bid late, or who's coming last minute? And the soften extension of the bids as well now. So there's a lot. And how much does the Glazers actually want for the club? So after Mr. B.
All right, so we've got one from Rebel. What do you make of the share price spike, Jay? Major growth in the space of an hour around 5 p.m., which suggests there may be activity around the takeover.
I've always been of the inclination that the most likely outcome here is Sheikh Jassim's bid being the successful one, because I think he's got the deepest pockets now. The one question there is this Sheikh Jassim or is this the Qatari fund? Is he got access to all the funds that are Qatari wealth fund or the ruling family in Qatar have got? And if he has, then I can't see how he doesn't, win the bidding, if you will. I think Jim Ratcliffe got a lot of money. He's the richest man in Britain, but he's not got that kind of wealth that a state like Qatar has. If this is a state-sponsored bid, if this is the state, then there's only going to be one winner if it comes down to money. And I think with the Glazers, it will come down to money. So maybe the stock market or whatever, or the share price is reflecting that. We are getting to the point now where the second bid could be the final bid. I don't know if there's going to be a third round of bidding. I don't know how that's going to work. They've had a chance to look at the books, make their decision and make their bid. The one thing I will say is it annoys me so much that the Glazers have come into this club, took so much out, never invested a penny, and are going to walk away with billions of pounds in profit off the back of it. It still frustrates me, man. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, they've gone now, we'll move forward, and this, that, and the other, but it'll still always annoy me that we had 18 years of these lot owning Manchester United, and if it wasn't for the genius Sir Alex Ferguson, we would have had a complete 18 years of almost disaster. I think the first 8 years of it was manageable because of him, and then the last 10 years has been pretty much terrible. I know we've had a few trophy wins along the way because of certain managers, doing well. But yeah, I can't wait to see him go. And it's a sad indictment of their ownership as well, that whoever comes in, can you imagine coming into a club the size of Manchester United and you've almost got a guarantee you can build a new stadium to be a successful owner now, because the stadium's been allowed to just disintegrate over 18 years. Like, how has that happened? You've almost got a guarantee you can build a new training ground, because the training ground hasn't been redeveloped since it was built in 2000. I mean, that's amazing. It's amazing that this is this happened on their watch, and they're going to walk away with it, with an absolutely astronomical amount of profit. It is frustrating, but I'll rejoice when they're gone. And then the next thing, then you'll turn your attention to the new owners, hold them to account, and make sure they've got the best interests of Manchester United at heart.
Because also with that though, Jay, the share prices, the stock exchange market in America opened up today, I think at 1:30, and the share price, the last time I checked it, it was from $23.76, and by I think it was about 4:30 or 5 p.m. it went to almost $25.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe the markets are reacting to the fact they know there's bids being submitted. Maybe they know there's something going on. Maybe there's a sale imminent. I don't know. Listen, I think what we've seen over the last few days is we've seen so many contradictory stories. And I've seen journalists I respect and trust come out with things that have been proven to be wrong. We saw it on Thursday. Was it Wednesday? So Wednesday, when the initial deadline was, people going saying bids have been submitted by Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim, and they hadn't. And people were running that story that these bids have been submitted. And then once the 9 o'clock deadline passed and it was evident that they hadn't been submitted, people had to backtrack. So listen,
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Well said, Mr. B. Nobody knows. Let's take a step back. Yes, the market fluctuating or the stock price changing, might be down to something. I don't know. Nobody really knows. We'll wait and find out. The smart money is probably on Sheikh Jassim being successful, but that's not to say that there can't be a twist in this tale. Sir Jim Ratcliffe doesn't strike me as a stupid man. He's still in it for a reason, so who knows?
But with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and I can't remember the gentleman's name now who's just come into it, could they form Thomas? Could they form something together? Because he's already said if he was to come in the club, he could sort of like buy 50% of it, and then like a fan or a group to do it as well. So then that could basically make it a 50-50. Now, as you just alluded to as well, though, Jay, for me, if it was me, and the smart money would be on the Qatari to come in on Manchester United, because at least then from what his statement is, he wants to come in and redo all of Manchester up, like surrounding the ground, inject so much money in, create so many jobs as well. And for me, as someone sort of like, retail's dying and things like where I work in the retail industry and things, for something like that to happen and to bring in a couple of places in there, that would be huge for like the city, around the city.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you can redevelop the city and you can bring, jobs to Manchester and to that part of Manchester and redevelop the surrounding area, that's all well and good. It sounds like a positive. There's a couple of things I would say on that. One, I think we've seen the redevelopment of East Manchester under the Abu Dhabi group. A lot of people have been quick to praise that. A lot of people I respect have been quick to praise it. And it's not just about the fact that the Manchester City owners, that's what you want to see. I will say, and I've said this all the time, this isn't me being a bitter United fan. This is me being someone who has lived in Manchester practically his whole life and who cares about these things. I think they could do more for low-income families when they're redeveloping all these houses and rebuilding all these buildings. I've seen a lot of people who lived in those areas being almost priced out of the areas. I know this might not mean a lot to you guys because you're not from around here, but there's certain areas that have been redeveloped and the prices have shot up, and especially around the city centre where the Abu Dhabi group has invested a lot, and it's almost become gentrified, and some of the lower income families are being pushed out, and I think that should be an issue that they should be able to help with, because they've got enough money where you can say, I think the target was 20% of the houses they were investing in or redeveloping or whatever would be for low income families, and I think the actual number was closer to 10%. So I'd want to see that if that happened with any ownership of Manchester United, if they were to redevelop housing in the area, jobs in the area is a good thing. But also, I don't want to benefit and look at all the rewards when other people are suffering. So that is a state ownership thing. You have that issue. If this is a state, what is that state doing? Is that state giving rights to everyone? Is it helping worker rights? Is it got the right workers' rights in that state? That would, feel a little bit unfair to just go, well, this is great now. Manchester's getting redeveloped. All these workers are working, and then you sort of turn a blind eye to what's going on in the state that's sponsoring you. If it is a state, because Sheikh Jassim, some people may argue, well, it's not, it's him. I think you'd have to do due diligence there and have a look into that. So there's all sorts of question marks, even with something that seems as open and short as the Qatar bid comes in and spends loads of money in the area. There's certain points you'd want to look at. But listen, look at him, speak about him, do what you want to do. I don't think it's going to change anything. I don't think, I'm going to stop it. This is $6 billion pound takeover, and they'll do whatever they want. But we can still talk about it. We can still raise issues that are close to our hearts, just like we did with the Glazers.
Yeah. Again, Jay, you raised some great points there as well. Obviously, affordable living as well, because the current climate we're in at the moment, what the whole country is sort of in at the moment. And as you said, like the lower income in sort of Manchester, I've been Liverpool, and I'm not saying Liverpool is close to me. I ain't been Manchester for, I reckon, about 20 odd years. And when I went to Manchester about 20 odd, sorry, we went to Manchester recently to see the Liverpool game. Sorry, Mr. B, sorry.
Your memory's worse than mine, bloody hell.
Sorry, Mr. B. So when we went to Manchester, the surrounding area, it wasn't that nice. But if they could come in as owners and actually redo around the area, but then for me, I'm not from Manchester, like what you said there, Jay, but if they could come in and make affordable living for people who are struggling in sort of those areas, then, you give them sort of that leverage of respect as well, because they're trying to help rather than coming in. And it's almost like when they knocked on Highbury, they built all these big houses, and what happened with it? They moved the stadium, and all these houses wasn't affordable houses, even though it was promised they're going to be affordable houses. No one could buy the houses around the surrounding area.
Yeah. This is the thing. And listen, I understand. I'm not completely naive or wet behind the ears. We live in a capitalist country, and people are going to buy things and make money off them and turn a profit. But I do think that you can still do those things and make sure that those families from that area, are looked after. I don't think that those two things are so incompatible as they can work. I think they can work, and I want to see Manchester move forward. I want to see it be redeveloped. I want to see buildings that are crumbling, rebuilt or whatever. You just want to see those that are in the situation that I've been in myself. That that they get looked after, and you're not just forcing people out of their home or their town because they can't afford it anymore.
Yeah. 100%. Mr. B, anything on that one before we go through some comments and then go back to
I'll leave you lot to talk about buying houses for the poor people. I'll leave that to you guys, to be fair. My thing with that is everybody's talking about what they want them to do. When they come in, they can do what they want, to be fair. They can do what they want. Everybody's hoping that they're going to do or be. I mean, we all feel that they will be. I mean, he said the right things. The name of the group that he set up, the 92 Foundation, it rings true with us as fans. So he's going about it the right way. I just hope it's not bullshit.
Mr. B put it lightly. Mr. B put it pleasantly.
No, I think you're right. That's it. So you don't want it to be bullshit, and ultimately, I completely agree. They're gonna do what they want to do, basically.
Yeah,
it's
their money.
So, the Glazers are gonna sell for the highest bid, and the highest bidder comes in and can do what he wants. I think that the one thing you will say about, for example, the Sheikh Jassim bid. Why does he want all Manchester United? What is his goal there? Is it, it doesn't strike me as he's buying Manchester United to try and make money out of it. He might want to make money out eventually, but it does strike me that there's going to be investment or spending there. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I don't think he's coming into Manchester United to turn a quick profit. I do think there's a connection there, and I do think he wants to build something and leave a legacy as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. One thing, the only sort of, well, not the only, but one of the worrying sort of aspects of this is, could there be a situation where the Glazers sell a minority stake and are kept on or whatever? Doesn't look likely, but you know, there's always that possibility, and that's one thing I don't think many Manchester United fans, if any of them, want.
Everyone wants the Oilers. So with it though, obviously, Jay, the rumor is as well, the Glazers haven't actually set a price. And again, you said it earlier as well. At the moment, we don't really know what's going on. Has a bid gone in? Has no bid gone in? It's coming today that the Qatari, about an hour and a half ago, that they've actually now placed a £6 billion pound bid in. Again, it's sources we're getting. We're not sure about it. So, but with the whole bits and pieces, with the softening or the sort of like the lower scale of, because other people are coming in apparently and putting more bids in, so that's why they softened the blow to give them extra time. Now, do you reckon if this rumor is true, this will be the main bid and probably world record bid now?
Well, the whole world record thing is a bit slightly, I'm not thinking you, but I keep seeing this thing. Any bid's a world record bid. The most paid for, I think, anything is 3.75, is it, or 4? Yeah?
Yes.
So any bid for Manchester United now is going to be world record. I think the first bids were world record. So people say world record bids coming in because it sounds like, wow, well, that's that then. But anything over, I think, 4 billion is going to be world record. Like I said, I mean, you know, the trouble is, I think what happened on Wednesday night, just for me personally, it put me off a lot of the noise you're hearing on Twitter, or even not just Twitter, from certain journalists and stuff, because you think, actually, none of these guys, as Mr. B said earlier, know anything. So you're just waiting to see until things are actually confirmed, because everyone went early on Wednesday and was telling us this bid's coming, and then I had to sit down and go, actually, what we've just been telling you is nonsense. No bids have come in yet, or the two main bidders haven't bid yet, which, you know, is ludicrous. So, yeah, like I said earlier, the logic for me is that Sheikh Jassim is successful. He bids the most. He pays what they need to pay, and he walks away with Manchester United Football Club. But you just don't know. You don't know for definite. I still think there's a chance that it don't happen. Is that Andy Tate?
Man of
the people. He probably missed out on us all praising him. He sound that bad. We just spent 10 minutes praising him, and he joins us afterwards. You might want to rewind it, Andy. We were singing your praises, bro. But no, them Broncos coming in, and I think is that 3.75 or something.
And I think they paid like 400k for that, 400k, or was it less than 400k for them, and sold them for like 3.77.
What? Really?
Yeah. They bought them for literally peanuts.
When did they buy them? 1912. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they bought them for that. Yeah, sounds like a dinosaur, isn't it? Prehistoric dinosaur. But no, with it though, it's what's this one? 6 billion. Jay, this one, it's a good one. I like this one.
Do you know what? I've seen this thing about the Glazers could be interested in buying Liverpool. I don't think
it'd be beautiful.
Happen. I think it'd be funny though, because you know, I remember Liverpool fans not long ago turned up at Old Trafford with Glazers in signs. So that'd be hysterical if they ended up with him, but I don't think it'll happen.
Andy was watching before, so he's seen all the praise. Mickey Ruber for question.
Other than the clear debt, invest in infrastructure, what else you see being a must? Personally, we need to clear open-ended communication. I said,
go on, Mr. B.
I was going to say already, we talk about all of this. They can do what they want. I think that, to be fair, I think there will be discussions to a certain part, but we're talking like they're just going to come and spunk their money. I know they've got loads of it, but they're not stupid. So the conversations that will be had, I know a lot of these groups are saying they want to have dialogue with these people. They're nothing to them. They're nothing. They're going to come in. I feel that they will come in and look after the club, to be fair. But at the same time, it's not a guarantee. So the clear and open communication, maybe, or depends what's leaked.
True. Yeah, I mean, personally, you know, what else you see as being a must? I think I don't know if you can get it, but I'd like to see some guarantee that we're not going to go down the Super League route again. I'd like to see him close the door on that one. I'd like to see, I understand communication is important as well, talking to the fans. But I'd want to. Again, I don't know if it's feasible, but you'd want some sort of guarantee or promise that Manchester United is still going to play in the Champions League if you qualify, obviously, play in the Premier League, play in the FA Cup, play in the League Cup. This isn't going to be the first sort of, we're going to get moved around and be part of this new Super League or whatever.
Haven't they the Premier League signed the Premier League charter to say that they won't join the Super League?
Yeah, there's there's these charters and these signs, right? But I'll tell you now, yeah, if you own, say, you and 10 other people own 10 clubs in Europe, and you say, right, we signed this charter, or my predecessor signed a charter, or the club signed up to a charter. How enforceable is that if you all go, well, we're going to do this now? This is our club and this is what we're doing with it. I'm not so sure. Do you know what I mean? There was guarantees years ago and that almost went out the window. And I think it was only the fan reaction that stopped it. So you might be right. I mean, there might be a charter that's set in stone and you cannot break it and you cannot get out of it. But I'm not sure. Or can you go into something that isn't the Super League, but is in it all but name? Do you know what I mean? Or you create a situation which makes the Champions League untenable. Those are the kind of things that worry me a little bit. It's like, not worry me, but you'd like to see some sort of guarantee that Manchester United is still going to be playing in the competitions that we want to see Manchester United playing in.
Yeah. Quick one, guys. 55 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. If you're not new, just give us a like. Can we get at least 50 likes before we come off, please? Another one here, Jay. Realistically, who do you want to come in and take over? Again, it's just fly off the wall, guys.
Do you know what though? There's no easy answer to this. Like every I used to think Sir Jim Ratcliffe was the obvious one and the best one, and in some respects he may be, but he's still a flaw. There's still flaws in that bid. There's talk about it being greenwashing. I didn't even know it was a thing. There's talk about what's happening with the debt. Is it got Ineos? Then there's other conflicting reports saying actually it's not. He's going to clear the debt. So don't know. With the Sheikh Jassim bid, there's a question mark. Is it Qatar? Is it not him? It's actually the state. I don't want us being owned by any state. Nothing against Qatar. I would want Britain as the state owning us. So I think every bid has got flaws to it. I think for me, you'd see who comes in, what they're about, and what they're promising, what they're doing, and then sort of have a look at it through there.
Yeah,
hey, I've got a question for you. You see how Ten Hag he's grown the team organically this season in regards to we didn't have, millions and millions of pounds. If the Qataris come in, would you want them to buy whoever Ten Hag wanted, regardless of price, or would you still want him to be building it how it sort of seems to be building it at the moment?
It's a really, really good question, that must be, because I think if you look at PSG, sometimes they've gone a bit too turbo.
Mm-hmm.
You look at them, like they've been at one Champions League final, I think, in maybe in their history, since Qatar took over. They've bought all these players. And you remember when they had that window when it was Ramos and Donnarumma and Ronaldo and Messi, and it was like, oh, you know what? Look at it now, we're going to win everything, and they didn't. I think it might have been the season after that or the season before that. Sorry, that they didn't even win the league, which for them is unheard of, because it just became a bit of a mess. And I think as a manager, I loved what Ten Hag, I love what he's doing. I think you've got to give any manager some sort of limits. Now, I want to see him backed properly. I want to see him given the funds that he needs. But I don't think necessarily you should just go, right, here's 5 billion quid to spend on transfers, do what you want. Because then it's just get ridiculous. But, I'm not saying you go out and waste it. But I think it's like you need to be a little bit sort of sensible around it, especially if financial fair play is a thing, and I think it will be. I think you've seen the investigation into City and the charges. You've seen the way Chelsea had to give everyone long-term contracts for that loophole where if someone's on a long-term contract, part of it can be paid next year or whatever. That's loopholes being closed. So I do think financial fair play is going to be a thing. So I think if you go out and waste hundreds of millions of pounds on players, your budget's going to be knackered. because you've got to recuperate some money back to spend more money. So I think, yeah, there has to be some sort of limit, but I want that limit to be at the top end of the scale, not at the bottom end of the scale.
And with that as well, though, Jay, because obviously it seems like with Manchester United, we let every single player's contract run down. We go out, we spend silly money on them. They don't really play in the team. The contract run out or they go on loan. And like you just said there, it's, for me, I want whoever the owner is coming into the club, I want them to back Erik ten Hag 100%. If Erik ten Hag say I want this player, they go on to get that player. I honestly don't see Erik ten Hag going out and sort of like your PSG, your Boss, or I'm buying Galactico players. I'm looking at Erik ten Hag and I'm looking at the players that can fit in his system and how he wants to play, rather than going out there and get you Mbappe. He doesn't want that Mbappe. What he might do, but he wants a player who's going to come in a workhorse and work for the team rather than being individual players. Because if you look at the way PSG plays, it's almost like they play with sort of like, well, 3 players who don't defend. And that's the reason why they're in the situation they are now.
Yeah, this is exactly it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, I think that, like, the thing is, everyone, and I'm guilty of it as anyone, we're all getting sort of carried away, and it's like, what, you know, we can go out and we can buy this player and get this player, and new owners can come in and get a new stadium, and new, you know, we can get a new training ground, and we can have all the debts gone, and everything's going to be amazing. But you've got to have some sort of plan, a structure, and a strategy, because you look at Manchester United over the last 10 years. Yes, the Glazers have been terrible owners, and it's been a disaster. But we have also wasted a lot of money. We've spent £1.4 billion since we last won the league, and we haven't won a league since then. So to spend that amount of money and not win a league is scandalous, and a lot of that has become because of a lack of structure and a lack of planning and a strategy. So I'd have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I think we need to be sort of, you know, very savvy about how we approach this as a club. You know, obviously I don't have a say in it. I hope they are, and I hope this manager gets brought back properly and the right players are brought in for him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, like, because obviously my concern is whoever the owner is, I just want them to make sure Erik ten Hag, they back him, because what Erik ten Hag's doing right now with the players he's got from previous season, he's working wonders. So imagine when Erik ten Hag actually get the players he wants, how the club is going to be run so smoothly. And also the infrastructure is about the youth team as well, about the women's football as well. So it's not only about the men, but it's almost like from sort of like the professional level going down to like the junior to the sort of senior teams, to make sure they've got that level and everyone's on the same level playing field at Manchester United as a football club, and also for the fans as well. Because I know for a fact, the minute the Glazers gone, I'm buying a football shirt.
Yeah.
They can have my money. They can have my money.
You won't be alone, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we had this conversation, me and Rebel. I think there's going to be, because are they saying that we've employed somebody who worked for Adidas on the board now? I think there's going to be, we make Champions League, and they go. I think that new shirt, whatever they, even if they make the shirt look like shit, it's going to be the highest selling Manchester United shirt in the history. I think everybody's just going to go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Couple of newbies, sorry, Jay. A couple of newbies, Mr. B. Would you mind? There's loads of newbies, but sorry, guys.
Adam Harris, welcome. Lucky Singh, welcome. English PLO, welcome. And Flex Felix, I'm sure we saw you a little while ago.
We've seen Flex, yeah.
As well, yeah.
Sorry, Jay.
No, sorry. Go on. What did you say? Sorry.
You were talking about.
Sorry. I thought you stopped. I thought you were just reading out a couple of super chats. Sorry, I was distracted. I've been seeing if there's any breaking news, because it's all these updates are coming in, and I'm still thinking skeptical. I'm not buying into it, but I'm just seeing what all the noise around it is. I think right now the Glazers are in the perfect situation for them, because they've got 2 super rich people bidding for the club. One of them is going to pay over the odds for Manchester United. Really, I think you are paying over the odds for it. The debt that they, accrued is going to be, wiped out. All that's going to be dealt with. It's nothing that they're going to have to worry about, which is really frustrating. And the ground that they've let go to rack and ruin is going to go. One thing I would say, though, I see a lot of United fans sort of argue with each other and having digs at each other. I respect that all United fans, want what's best for the club, or they want to see the club competing and successful. Now, you may disagree about the best way to do that. Some people may think it's Sheikh Jassim. Some people may think it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But I don't think, arguing with each other, having a dig at a fan who disagrees with the way I go about it, gets us anywhere. I've seen a lot of people throwing shade at like other fans because it's like, oh, you want this bid, or you want that bid. I can't be doing with that. I think we've had, we should be looking at the Glazers going, like, let's get rid of them, get them gone, celebrate that moment, and then hold the new owners to account, whoever the new owners will be, just as we've always done at Manchester United.
Jay, and we'll pop a celebration. Mr. B will have his glass of milk. You can have your cherry Coke, and I'll have my what is it I'm doing now? My water. That's it now.
Yeah.
Government juice.
Nice.
I call it the government juice. That's it. Is Mr. B? Is he just going to show me the glass of milk?
I was going to give you the bird, but my son walked past, so I kept my finger in my fist.
Okay, this one is from Mickey Ruby as well.
Guys, what's your take on a particular Scouser? I don't know if we could say this. Who is rattled?
Liverpool fan, Liverpool journalist.
Oh, listen, man. They've been rattled since Ten Hag came in. To be fair, I just think it is what it is. My opinion. To be fair, they're always going to be bitch, but it's good. It's good. Let Man United be on their lips now. It's about time.
We got some more comments coming in. Here we go. Yeah. So with that though, it's going to be difficult because, like you said, it's like stories, and it's almost like what you take away from that story that people of on sort of the news, people from like Twitter, like these credible people is coming out with. But for me, I'm not going to sort of like celebrate anything until I see that person signing, or in the press conference saying, yes, we bought Manchester United. But the first thing I want them to do is when they do this whole the transfer over, I want them to actually sit down on MUTV or whatever it is and give the fans a breakdown of actually the reason they bought Manchester United, what they're going to do for Man United, what they're going to do for the people around Manchester as well, and what they're going to do for the fans. As I don't know if anyone agree with me there, but I think there should be some sort of transparency there to tell us what their aim is, because under the Glazers, we never had that.
Yeah, no, this is it. I mean, dialogue and transparency, are two things that we're missing. I think it will help a lot of fans. It will, help change the sort of the mood and the attitude a lot of the fans have towards the club as well. It's not the be all and end all. Listen, if you're winning football matches, you're winning trophies, and the ground's great, are you that bothered if the owners don't talk to you? Probably not. But I think having some sort of dialogue and a bit of transparency isn't a bad thing at all.
Okay, so we are going to go through a couple more comments there, Mr. B, if that's okay. We have got a few newbies in, so guys, welcome to the Man United agenda. And we are talking. Pardon? Oh, well, just go through bits and pieces. But 52 in the chat, though, guys. 52 in the chat.
Exactly.
Sorry, Mr. B. Let's go Saragons. Let's go Saragons there.
Glazers need to sell, but putting out stuff because they're deluded and greedy about the price they want.
Let me see. So we've got Saragons. I think we've seen that one already.
Let's see.
So
I have to. Why are you getting me to read, man? This time of night, I've always got a Monday on it. I need to get it up in blue. If you don't have it right, there you go. I've had a look at City's accounts, and it's true they don't spend as much as us. To get Haaland for a fee of 17 million and a wage of $1,000 a week is amazing.
But that is the thing with it. And then last one from Vincent.
Next season, home shirt and shirt sponsor is TeamViewer. What's that? Solo, man. You make these people think I'm bloody dyslexic. Dyslexic. What did it say? Next season home shirt leaked. Oh, right. Okay. It's been leaked, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not reading no more messages. I'm not
Okay,
reading
cool.
no more messages.
All right, then
Sorry, bro.
we're not. Mr. B's, it's the eyesight, you see. We're bad. We're both as bad as each
Fair
other.
enough. Fair enough, lads.
Oh, God. But listen, guys, 47 in the chat, though. What we're going to do now, we are going to wrap up because at 10 o'clock, there is going to be the Friday night takeaway. So if you guys want to take yourself to go discuss about Marcus Rashford and Tony Martial, please go do so. But, guys, absolutely brilliant show tonight. Thanks, Jay, again, as always. Jay, it's over to you, sir. And Mr. B said he'll buy you a broccoli t-shirt.
Oh, nice. Listen, well done on your 2-year anniversary. Well done on the milestones you keep hitting. If you've joined me because you know me from Stretford Paddock, make sure you're subscribing to these guys. You know, and you'll see Andy Tate presenting, you'll see me appearing, you'll see all these guys as well. And it's a fantastic channel. I look forward to seeing it carry us towards the end of the season and hopefully some more silverware.
Talking about silverware, I still think we're going to do the FA Cup and the Europa League. I still think we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I've got confidence.
Fantastic.
I've got confidence. I'm not going to say we're going to win the league, unlike some other people who isn't on the show tonight. But Mr. B, on Monday we'll be back anyway to tell you we probably still stand a chance. Mathematically, we're still in the league. But guys, listen, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Money Agenda. And as I said, 10 o'clock tonight, Mr. B will be live with CALLULA. So make sure you go and check them out as well at 10 o'clock. So Mr. B is doing double shift tonight. So guys, from us, Solo, Mr. B, Jay, thank you all. Good night.
You did it first.